Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to end of day update. Starting with Bitcoin, you can see how nicely Bitcoin is on this support trend line. This is a daily chart. You can see support, support, support. Right now, again, it's a live market here. Right now on support, holding it very nicely. And you can see if I go to 1 hour chart, if I show you what's happening here, you can see price was going lower and we were making some divergences. So you can see what's happening here. If I draw an arrow, you can see if I zoom out a bit, you can see what's happening here. Price was going lower. And you can see here we had big divergence on 1 hour chart, even on RSI, big divergence. So momentum was going higher while price was going lower, and now we are about to get a breakout. So if I go to daily chart, you can see what's happening here. If I turn auto on, if I zoom in, you can see here, if I zoom in, you can see this green line is above red line. Let me get rid of this arrow. You can see what happens whenever green line is above red line. That's a very bullish signal. Okay, so let's quickly see what happens before. So you can see when this one crossed, green line crossed above red line last time, it was here, and Bitcoin pumped from here to the top almost 28%. Okay, also I got a green buy dot. You can see here also we got a green buy dot and massive pump after that. So it's very possible Bitcoin is getting ready for a massive pump. And my next target, if I zoom out a bit, you can see here this is our next resistance, which is around 38,000 to 42,000. I think Bitcoin is heading there right now, and from today where we are as of now to 38,000, it's going to be another 28%. Okay, so it's quite possible Bitcoin is heading there. So do not be shorting Bitcoin. And you can see Bitcoin looks like making a flag here. So what I mean by that, if I take some indicators, let me zoom this in. And if I take a right indicator here, and let's see if I draw like this is a flag post. Okay, and you can see it can make something like a flag here. And if I, at minimum, if I move this to a breakout, depending on when that breakout happens, maybe it's going to happen here, maybe it will happen later on. You can see very nicely we're getting very close to this 38,000 target. So this is what I'm trying to tell you guys. We are getting ready for a massive pump, and you don't want to be missing. Now we do have this 32k resistance, but Bitcoin spent so long for, like, since here June, July, August, almost 2 months consolidating just before under this resistance, and I think it is now ready. It has enough strength to basically break this resistance. Okay, so Bitcoin is looking very good, and we are heading higher in my opinion. Ethereum is same thing. You can see this trend line here right on the support trend line. Now we are in this chop box, but we are right above this trend line, and it is going to be a very explosive breakout. And Ethereum can even go, actually I'm going to bring this here, this resistance here. So Ethereum is going around 2400 in my opinion. So that will be from today where we are now to the top. It's going to be around almost 28-29% as well. All right. So I think crypto is looking good, and this is the time you should be accumulating Bitcoin and or crypto coins you like before an explosive breakout happens. Do not buy when we are here. Do not get excited. This is the time when you need to buy. All right, so that's on crypto. Now going to S&P 500. You can see here very nicely S&P 500 is also holding this trend line. You can see support. Now we came to backtest and also this gap fill. However, this gap is not filled in my book. So you can see there was 1 hour gap here. We came very close to that gap, but we slightly left it open to 443. That's the only thing which bothering me. But only daily chart, it looks like it filled the gap. So I think from here, you can see this gap here. This was a downgrade. Fitch downgraded US sector here on this day, which was I think Tuesday, and we got a massive gap down. I think in my opinion we're going to fill this gap. So from here, from today's close to this gap is around 1.8%. So I think we are heading higher on this green trend line, and we will fill this gap. Then maybe we'll get another decline here into late October time frame, and then we'll go towards a new all-time high. So no matter how we are going towards all-time highs. So nothing to worry. We are in a bull market. It's buy the dip. Let's see if we go fill this gap fully, then we get a weakness, or we get weakness now and then fill this gap and then go higher. Okay, but regardless, we are going higher. That's my expectation. And triple Qs, that gap is still a bit higher than S&P 500. So from here, that gap, triple Qs, although they don't have any other 1 hour gaps, this is way far. And then another gap is around 332. I don't know if you're going to go there because market is looking very strong. And from today's close, that gap which we have from Fitch downgrade was almost 3.35% up. Okay, so triple Q's gap is way higher than S&P 500. Also, there's another gap which was not filled, so probably we're heading there. So that gap is around 4% higher. Okay, so point is looks like we're getting higher, and then probably once we fill this gap, maybe we'll get some weakness into October, and then probably we'll fill this gap. I don't know if we're gonna fill. There's another gap here. I'm not sure if we could, because this is a very strong bull market. I don't think we can go all the way here. I think we'll go fill this gap, and then we're heading higher to new all-time highs later on this year. So that's my projection on triple Qs as well. And let's quickly look at Dow Jones, which is industrial sector. Today, a little bit weak, although it closed green. That's good. I think we, again, this is my projection, and it did not fill this gap. You can see on 1 hour chart, it did not fill this gap, although the switch gap was filled. But I think we are heading higher to maybe equal highs, and then we go down to fill this gap, and then we go towards a new all-time high later on. So I think what's going to happen, most likely, let me get the right tool here. I think this is what I'm expecting, a new high, and then come back, and then going for a new all-time high later on. Okay, this couldn't be a double top, so it might not be a new high. We'll see how it goes. Russell looking very weak. Still 0.7% down. So I think looks like it's going to make a lower high, and then we're heading towards this trend line. All right. And let's see what else is here. Let's look at VIX. VIX, basically, you can see this gap is still not filled, big daily gap. So I think it's going to come back down more to fill this gap. You can see on 1 hour chart, this gap was created on same day when we got this downgrade on US. Massive gap up. I think we're heading lower before we jump to new highs later on in October. And let's quickly look at gold. Gold is weak, still weak. Looks like this, it's right on this. So could this be double bottom? I don't know. It broke this trend line. Now the only good thing on gold is we are going lower on higher PPO. You can see momentum is higher on gold, and also you can see RSI. We had a big drop, but still you can see RSI is still higher. So that means gold is going lower on higher momentum. I think we are waiting for a breakout. To get a breakout, you can draw a trend line like this. You can wait for this trend line to break if you want to be really, really careful. You can wait for this trend line to break, and if something like this happens, back test and go higher, that's what would be your buy signal. All right. So this is what you need to look into gold. I'm just going to clear this for now, and let's go back to daily chart. So yeah, again, I think this is a big support zone. If I draw a box here, I had a box, I had to remove it for some analysis. So you can see this whole box here. You can see this whole area is a support zone. You're still in the support zone. Okay. Now, although there is a gap here around 1870, so sure, it can go a little bit lower, but I think we're due for a rally before we go much lower. So I think most likely on gold, I'm looking for a higher low. Maybe back test this trend line and then go lower and then go for new all-time highs. That's what my expectation is. And silver, let's quickly look at silver. You can see came very close to this trend line, and right support, and now almost there. So maybe we'll have a little bit more weakness, or this is it. I don't know. We'll see. But looking for a lower high from here, and then come back to back test this, and then going higher again. Natural gas by the dip, looking very good. So you can see just keep going higher and higher, and it's just by the dip, guys. There's nothing wrong in this, and looking very bullish. The time to buy is gone, so this is looking very solid. Crude oil, looking for again, it's by the dip. So basically, any dips look to buy crude oil and then going higher. All right, and let's look at Hang Seng Index. Again, bottoming here. This is where it should be finding a lot of support. And you can see here, this whole area is a big support zone. So looking to get buying bid here and then going higher here. Or recover crypto. Bonds, made I don't think it made a new high. This is surprising. I'm not sure why it sold off heavily here today, but looks like still, is it going to make a new double bottom? I'm not sure, but this projection is now looking very weak. So let's see how it goes. I don't have if tomorrow this thing breaks, which is around 109.24, that's very bearish. Let's see tomorrow if it holds or not. Let's quickly look at TLT, how much down this went. I'm not sure what was the reason. Not a lot, 0.22%, but okay. So maybe this is another double bottom opportunity here. You can see this whole support area here, which is where it's heading now, looks like. So this is whole support area before we go higher. All right, that's on bonds. Dollar looking very strong, so, but this is where I expect dollar to weaken. And you can see, although it's close green, that's why probably gold is weak. But I think this is where a big resistance is here, and this is where I would like to see dollar to fail, and then that will help gold to go higher. Copper, again on the buy box, this is where you need to buy copper. CPER is the ETR. Wheat is looking very weak. I think it's coming for the back test, so we can get rid of this trend line. Looks like it wants to come for a back test of this trend line again, this downward sloping trend line. So I guess we'll wait for that, and then probably it's very close to this back test, and then it's going to go higher later on. Okay. And con flat kind of today, and it's, although it's below this support line, but this could be like a stop rate. And you can see we're going lower on higher momentum on PPO and RSI. So that's telling me this is like a fake out move, and we're going to be getting a breakout very, very soon on con. Soybeans, right on the support area. This is where you want to buy soybeans, SOYB. This is looking good. Sugar, and again, sugar is now, let's see if it can backtest this trend line or not. It failed. Here it perfectly backtested, but it failed this trend line, and this was a fake out move. And then let's see if can now recover, but to recover, it's still a long way to go. This is where a massive resistance is. You can see here, if I draw a box here, this is massive resistance. Maybe make it a bit red for you guys, so you can see it here. This is how it looks like. All right, we're heading towards massive resistance here. Let's see what else is here. Newmont Mine, which is biggest gold miner, right on the support zone. This is where you want to buy gold miners, biggest gold miner. This is where you buy gold. So gold miners now below this trend line. You can see here support this white line. Follow my cursor, and you can see it here also. It came to support, and now it's breaking the support. But you can see what's happening. We made a new low, but with higher momentum on PPO and RSI. You can see it's a new low, and compared to this low, and even RSI is, now we're getting a lot of divergences. So I think we are due for a massive rally now anytime. So you can see here, this is also divergences are happening even on 1 hour chart. You can see we had a gap down today, and this 29.37, there's another gap, 31.38 and 32.37, multiple gaps on higher PPO and RSI momentum. So gold miners are looking very strong. Well, looking weak, but I think internals are telling me, indicators are telling me a massive rally is around the corner. So this is where you want to buy gold miners. Let's keep going and see sectors. XLK, this is tech sector. So multiple gaps, looking same as triple Qs, looking for this gap to fill before going lower. XLE, energy sector, a little bit weak. It's by the dip. There's this gap here around 87.49, looking for that gap to fill before going higher. XLV, healthcare sector, it's heading higher. So that's the target. So maybe it did dipped here and then going higher. So that's possible, but this looking for a new high to compare to previous high on healthcare sector very, very soon. Utility sector, again getting rejected on this trend line, but this is where you want to buy utilities, and it's going to break with an impulsive breakout anytime. XLU is looking good in my opinion to buy. XLI is flat, looking for like industrial sector. Dow Jones looking for a new high, then go higher, go lower later on. XLRE, real estate sector, again looking for these gaps to fill before going lower on this trend line. And financials also flat, looking for this gap to fill before going lower to fill other gaps towards the downside in later on in October. KRE, regional bank ETF, I think there's this gap here. You can see this dump here. I think it's going to be bumped later on, but I think at this time, I do expect, I'm not sure why financials were down today. Tech was leading the rally, but at minimum, looking for this gap to fill, then go down, lower, fill this gap, and then go higher, like in a pump. Okay, that's what I'm expecting. Tesla, very good trade here, right on this trend line. Let's go to 1 hour chart and show you. So Tesla had this gap which was filled. This gap was around here, 234. This was filled today, and it gapped down, two gap downs. So all gaps are filled. So I think from here Tesla is heading higher. Today could be the bottom, short-term bottom, looking for these gaps now to fill. I don't know if it's going to go all the way high here. I'm not sure. This is the Fitch cap, but looking for a higher low, then go lower. There are all other gaps here. And then basically later on going for new all-time high rally later on. So this is a trend line coming very close to the trend line. So basically it will go higher, maybe come back to this trend line and then go higher. That's what I'm expecting. Netflix, looking for a pump, which I had it here. So looking for this gap to fill before going lower. Google started the pump, looking for a new high before we go lower. Microsoft also now back above this trend line. You can see this was the fake out move last couple of days. Back on this trend line. Now all these gaps are to the top side, looking for all these to fill. Meta, Facebook, oh, actually it filled this gap. Let's go to 1 hour chart so you can delete this. Looking for now this next gap to fill before going lower. And Apple looks like bottom is in, and looking for these gaps to fill. Amazon, again looking for these gaps to fill and then come back to trend line. Snowflakes was kind of flat, but multiple gaps. Earnings are coming very soon, so I'm not sure how it's gonna work. We'll see. NVDA 7% up. Oh, look at this engulfing candle. Wow, I don't know what happened. What was the news? I'm not sure what's going on, but looks like now it wants to go higher. Maybe it will fill these two gaps before going lower. Maybe earnings is when we're going to go lower. AMD, all chips will be probably falling NVIDIA. So that's what's happening here. And let's quickly look at stocks for tomorrow using my indicator, and let's see what stocks are in buy zone and which are good for trade tomorrow. And you can see here S&P 500 came very close to the basically buy zone to the sell zone. By the way, guys, if you guys like these updates, I provide 2 times updates to my members. So basically pre-market before trades are happening around 8:30 to 9 o'clock. 9:30 is when cash opens, and I provide these trade updates, stocks to buy in these zones, which are based on overnight trading, because these ones runs 24/7. If you like that, you can subscribe. It's only like $7 a month, very, very cheap. And there are no contracts. If you don't like it, you can cancel it. And you can make money for the entire year in like one trade. Okay, these are really helpful, and I think you will like it. All right, so US 500, this is getting closer to sell zone now. So 4498.9, this is where the sell zone is. US 100, 1000, sorry, Nasdaq US 100 is also very close to the sell zone. This is where you want to take profits. It can go higher to next couple of zones. That's possible, but this is where you don't want to be a bull. You want to be a bear, and you can look for quick put options here. US 30 in the middle, still a lot of room to go. US 2000 in the middle, still a lot of room to go. Gold is getting very close to the buy zone. So for 1904.91, look to buy gold, and gold miners also very close to the buy zone. So this is not where I will be shorting. I will be buying gold and gold miners. Triple Qs also getting close to buy sell zones. 372 is where you should be looking to short. Still it can go higher from here. So from today's close to this close is around 0.4% higher. Silver in the neutral, nothing to do here. Natural gas now getting closer to sell zone. It came to the buy zone, now almost at sell zone, now getting closer to sell zone. So wait for it to come back to buy zone to buy. Crude oil in the middle, not to do here, nothing much to do here. Toronto Stock Exchange coming closer to buy zone. If it falls below 2239, look to buy. Hang Seng Index is closer to buy zone. This is where you want to buy Chinese stocks. Baba Baidu, Bitcoin touched buy zone, basically went massive move up, went to third standard deviation, and I provide an update to my subscribers that this is where you should be looking to take profits, and then it dumped right away. Okay, now again back buy zone, now in the middle. So wait for it to fall below 29,297 to buy again. Ethereum, same thing, from sell zone to buy zone. Now wait for it to again go below 1841 to buy. Let's look at commodities. Copper in the middle. Wheat is in the buy zone, looking good. Corn is closer to buy zone. Soya beans, green, nothing to do here. Sugar, nothing to do here. SPY, S&P 500 getting closer to sell zone, 449.85, and above, look to sell it. Dow Jones in the middle, IWM in the middle, Newmont Mine, very close to the buy zone. Let's quickly look at sectors. XLK now in the middle, nothing to do here. Let's look at sectors which sold. So XLU closer to buy zone. XLRE real estate sector still away. XLF still away. KRE regional bank ETF right in the buy zone. This is where you want to buy KRE. Look at tech stock, Tesla now in the middle. It was in the buy zone and then jumped. It was down almost 3.5% in the morning. Now it's jumped again and looking good. And snowflakes also still in the middle, so nothing to do here. So I think most of the other tech stocks are in the middle. So no interest here. You don't want to buy. You want to wait for a dip. I think all stocks are pumping. Apple, I was telling you guys to buy last couple of days. Now it's looking good. So now it's in the basically middle or sell zone. And let's look at anything red, which we can see the zones. IBM getting close to the buy zone. So let's see what else is here. UPS getting close to the buy zone here. Nike close to the buy zone. Honeywell in the middle, nothing to do here. See, even if it's red, it doesn't mean it's in the buy zone. You have to wait for it to fall. PG, Procter & Gamble near buy zone. TELUS, nothing to do here. Bell, BCE in the buy zone. And Walmart, let's quickly look. Walmart still away. Coca-Cola, let's see, Coca-Cola still away. CVS Health still away. Let's look at Chinese stocks. So MCHI, Hang Seng Index in the buy zone. Baba is in the buy zone. Baidu is in the buy zone, so looking very solid. And let's look at any of the banks, Canadian banks. BMO is in the buy zone. Royal Bank, it's in the buy zone, so looks like Canadian banks are in the buy zone. TD is jumping a little bit. Bank of Nova Scotia in the buy zone. CM is in the buy zone. National Bank is jumping, nothing to do here. Manulife Financials jumping here from buy zone. Sun Life Financial is in the buy zone. Let's look at American banks. Citigroup in the buy zone. Goldman Sachs in the buy zone. Bank of America jumping now. And this is CP Rail, it's a little bit higher. Let's look at what else. Enbridge, today was dividend day, still touched the buy zone in the morning, now bouncing. So if it falls below 35.4, this is a gap fill. Look to buy. FTH, utilities company. This is also in the buy zone. Let's look at growth stocks. NEO in the buy zone. Nikola not in the buy zone. It was in the buy zone in the morning and then jumped. Riot in the buy zone. Square in the buy zone. TTD is jumping. Oh, it's still in the buy zone. TTD. SE jumping now, and Target in the buy zone almost there. Palantir is jumping. Zoom also jumped from buy zone to the middle of the zone. Okay guys, that's it. I think this was helpful, and on your way out, please hit the like button. Again, if you want to subscribe, please hit the join button at the bottom, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.